Good afternoon, everybody. It's Metaphysical Meltdown, for better or for worse. We were a little bit past the time, but you know what? We're never late. We are right on time. I'm trying to connect in. And folks, we have Robbie Holz on today, and I know you'll want to ask her some questions, which is totally fine. And I will say a couple things here, and then we'll get right into it. So forgive me. I am now coming on board. Oh, there we go. Awesome. So hello, everybody. You know, it's kind of funny here in video land today. It was raining like crazy here in Tacoma. All kinds of weird stuff going on. We woke up at 5 with what sounded like shots. I don't know what it was. So we've been up a long time over here. I think it could have been somebody, I don't know what they were doing, but that's how I got up this morning. So just very thankful for being with Robbie today and all of you. So my guest today, Robbie Holz, is a wonderful person I've actually met in real life. So we'll be welcoming her in just 1 minute. I'm happy to tell you that we have some very interesting people here this week. On Wednesday, we have Eileen Grimes, who is an astrologer. There are so many planets in retrograde right now, I can't even name them all off, but she's going to tell us what's going on with the retrograde planets and also what's going on with these eclipses. We already had one, going to have another one, and she will be answering your questions. So remember, if you want to ask questions, it's totally fine. And then on Thursday, we'll have Dr. Corey, who is a chiropractor and nutritionist, and she is a very interesting energy worker too. So this is kind of energy worker practitioner kind of week. And then I let you guys know, I gave you a little teaser that Galactic Week's coming up, and boy, do I have a surprise for you. So that will be coming up the next couple weeks. So all that to say, sure wish it would quit raining. And my window's open, so I apologize if it like it did just a second ago. Okay, so here we are. We're going to welcome Robbie Holz. She is an author, somebody I met a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, could have been 2 years ago at Ted Marr's Galactic Fair in Lacey. And so she was speaking that day about this book that she wrote with her husband called Secrets of Aboriginal Healing. And it is a remarkable book, which I just finished about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I started reading it right after I met her, and the timing wasn't right. And wow, was the timing exactly correct for me this time, because I learned a lot and it was exactly perfect for me to hear. So without any more of my blathering, here is beautiful Robbie, and she will be telling us, if you could, just a little about yourself. What are you doing these days?
Sure. So, thank you, Mary. It's nice to be here. So I am a medium and an author of a number of books. The first two, The Secrets of Aboriginal Healing and The Aboriginal Secrets of Awakening, I published, and it must have struck a chord of truth with a number of people, because they're now in over 43 countries. So that was it just goes to show how much the Aboriginal people culture relate to people around the world. It's very interesting where the followings are. And I just recently published a book called Vibrant Living, Braving the Pandemic with Help from Your Guardian Angel. It just felt extremely needed right now. And I think what's transformational is for people to recognize how to get help from the other side of the veil. It's all available to us. So I'm sure we'll go into that today.
Absolutely. And I was just telling Robbie when we connected up a few moments ago that I had a beautiful guide here. And what he looks like is he has lovely brown skin, white hair. He's a slimmer gentleman. He has white markings on his face and a big smile. He's a really nice smile. Yeah. And you said you know who that gentleman is.
Well, he's part of my spirit healing team. I work with people, I do consultations, and I help people from all over the world. And I have this beautiful healing spirit team, and there are a number of Aboriginal healers who have passed over who are part of that team. My late husband is also part of the team, but I just love when they show up now and then, and that some people are able to see them. But aren't they something? I just love them.
Yes. So I saw him yesterday, and then when I was out going over my notes, there he was again. and I closed my eyes, and he took me right up next to Uluru, right next, so I could put my back on it, and then right onto the top, and then right down inside, which I've been before. So there were many people sitting in a circle, and I was outside of it. And he handed me a drink that looked like tea and asked me to drink it, and I did. And then so we went through my whole vision. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I know what else. Then he went like this, and I looked up above, and I could see my family ship up above the place, which of course is as big as the rock itself.
Yeah.
And then there was also a deer. It looked like a deer. I don't know if it's a deer. I've never been to Australia except for in my heart, but I think I have been in past lives. But I saw a deer with horns, different looking than our deer. But when I looked at it, I thought that's what it was. And let's see. No, but anyway, he just had me drink that awesome tea. And then when I sat down here and I noticed we were going to be a few minutes late, I kept asking him, "Is this going to go okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry." So, we're on spirit time. We're not on, 2 o'clock. Whatever.
It's so funny because I asked the same thing. Apparently, I was calling the wrong number and I wasn't using the computer right. And so I'm asking my team, is this going to happen today? Because, sometimes I was waiting for you and you weren't coming because obviously I was at the wrong place. And so I just said, is this going to happen? They're like, yeah. It's like, all right, then guide me how to make this happen. And we connected. So,
yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I talk to them all day.
So do I. It's awesome. It's awesome. They help me with anything and everything as they're available to help anybody.
Well, they sure are. And that's part of what I want to talk to in a minute. But I was just to start out is that I've always felt like I had something to do with that beautiful mountain. And every time I see a picture, it makes me feel something in my heart. And it's a 60,000-year-old culture, the Aboriginal culture, 60,000 years old.
Yeah.
Greatest healers in the world, I know. So how in the world did that scientific thinking husband of yours decide to do this whole thing? Because the story of the first book is actually mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. He was a physicist and who was really, he only had about 6 months to live from MS. His body was shutting down. And this is a guy who was tenacious and determined to find answers. And so he discovered the Aboriginal healers in the outback and was able to connect to them and flew out immediately to see them, came back 10 days later, a totally transformed man. He had gone out there in a wheelchair and he came back clumsily able to walk. He had feeling throughout his body, which he hadn't had in 7 years. But the biggest transformation, Mary, was his emotional transformation. Mm-hmm. He was a scientist who went in with everything is black and white. There's no gray area. And he came back understanding there's a lot of gray, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers, there's a lot of gray that can't be explained, but it still exists nonetheless. And so the remote Aboriginal tribes people gave him their healing secrets, which had, they're over 60,000 years old, and they're the oldest continuous culture on the planet. And they have been passing these healing secrets on word of mouth from culture, from generation to generation. And they asked him to take it out into the world and publish it. And so that's what he did. And that's what I did, is to get it out there. And that's where I was kind of shocked to find out that now it's in 73 countries. I'm sorry, 43.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it resonates. When people hear the truth or read the truth, they know it, and you can feel it in your body. And that's what's happening. Plus, there's a lot of energy in these books. And people, sometimes it's interesting when people see it. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's energy coming off these books.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's interesting that how people describe it differently. One lady in Canada called me and she said there was a receipt in the book. Then the receipt had colors coming off of it. Oh. My husband held it for me for a second while I had to find something in my purse. Then his hands had colors coming off of it. Some describe it as rainbow colors, some describe it as gold. But it's just interesting that there's a lot of, and one of the Aboriginal healers is behind this book and the energy behind this book. And he said, it's his responsibility to get it into many nations, as he calls it. And
Oh.
so that's coming from the other side of the veil. I'm just, as the rocks call us, the two-legged movers, where I'm able to physically move things easier. But yeah, that's what's going on with that book. So that's Secrets of Aboriginal Healing, and that's the story of Gary, my late husband, going into the outback. And he survived, I think, another 12 or 14 years after that. Totally transformed. He came back and started practicing and teaching what the Aborigines had taught him, and became a psychoneuroimmunologist, using the body, the emotion, to transform the body. It's cutting edge in some ways. But the Aborigines, they're embracing fifth dimensional thinking and these quantum physics and this ancient healing. They're just putting it all together, and they were generously giving it to us. It's beautiful.
In a beautiful way that anybody can understand.
Yes, very down to earth.
And absolutely can feel it. So I think I've felt the energy you're talking about that's coming off the book. And I do think I see your husband, Gary. Because there's somebody right there who's saying, yes, that's him. So he is coming here.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So what a strong man he was, to be able to have to sit in his wheelchair for that entire long trip. And believed that something good was going to happen, and even ate the moving grubs and all of that. I don't know if I could eat that, but everybody says they taste good, so maybe I could. I don't know.
I don't know, Mary. I don't know. I did end up I was invited to come and perform healing ceremonies with Aboriginal women in the outback, and I expected to be eating grubs, and I brought a whole lot of energy bars with me, hoping that I could get by without having to eat grubs. I did manage to get by without eating grubs, but that was a cool experience, because they showed me things that you normally wouldn't be able to access in this world. And it was just fascinating being with these Aboriginal tribeswomen who, it's not like they get together at 5 o'clock. They get together to perform these ceremonies when the energy is right. And so they kept building up the energy. And they said that I was invited, and I brought another person from the US, and it was women from all over. There were about maybe 20 of us, 16.
Oh.
And they said that our energy built it up so much that they wanted to bring rains to the desert. It's tough out there. It's so harsh. And so that's what we did. But it also allowed me to shift into these higher frequencies, these higher vibrations, so that I could kind of glimpse what it's like to be in the fifth dimension, where you just feel at one with everything, where you can feel the love of Mother Earth, where you just see everything just interconnected. It was an amazing time. It was a blessing. It was tough, but it was a blessing. I mean, the desert, the outback is just harsh, and these people live in it. They don't have any relief from it. So I can tell you, when I came out, it was the longest shower I've had in my life, and the most enjoyable. You're just covered in dirt and filth, but there's a freedom to that too. You just like, so who cares that my hair is standing straight up from being matted? It's all right. It's okay. It was a real connection to the earth.
Yes, absolutely. Do you still feel that you're in 5D now from that experience?
No, it's really, I don't know that many people can hang in 5D on this planet in the toxic culture and world that we live in. But I think when people move, because we're currently in third, right? And when you move into fourth, which some of us do sometimes, when you're feeling real love, when you're feeling joy, immense gratitude, real joy, that's touching into the fourth. And the key is to stay in those higher frequencies and not get pulled back into the third. So I've touched the fifth a few times, but you can't, I don't think you can sustain it. I don't think my body could sustain it. I don't think our bodies are equipped to be at that high a frequency for very long.
One thing I would put forth is ask the holy ones to show you what 7 feels like. That's the smoother energy. So for years, everybody was like, when we get to 5D, man, this is going to be awesome. I remember thinking to myself, I will be free of pain when I get to 5D. So I got in 5D and I went, wait a minute now, where's all those bags of chips everybody told me about? So
where's the donut? That's what I want.
So 5D is, as Katie Endicrow says, corrupted. Okay, so you want to go to 7. 7 is smoother. So when we get off, I'll tell you some stuff to
Yeah, I'd love that.
play around with that, because that actually feels better, because our work is higher, right?
Yeah.
But you know, my fat patootie needed to be playing around in a different one. And if you can just think about it as playing, it makes it a lot less stressful.
Yeah. It
So
is playing. It is awesome.
it absolutely is. And so one of the things you said is, you said there's unlimited assistance from the spiritual world. And I believe that's true. There are
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
different realms that are willing to play with us.
Absolutely. It's accessible to all of us. And it's just because this is a free will planet, they're not going to just step in and assist. We have to ask, because Earth is one of those, it's a very unique place, where we're given a physical body and we're given a wider range of emotions. And because it's a free will planet, the the angels and guides and all of those, they're not going to just step in unless we ask. But that's all you have to do is ask, and they're telepathic to your thoughts. So they just need permission. They want to know, what do you want? Well, thank you for helping me heal this, or thank you for helping me get through this, or whatever it is. And they've said it's like operating from 5 amps of power on your own to 5,000 amps of power with their help. That's huge. It's transformational. And that's what I do. I'm sure you do it on many levels too, where we let them help us with anything and everything. It's a game changer. It's huge.
It is. And I think I held on to them for so long because many times in my life, they were the only ones that loved me. And so when I went to direct access, higher self, I felt so alone.
Yeah.
So all my writing in the last month or two, however long it's been, has all been about them saying, we are here, you're not alone, we've got you. And I went through something hard recently, and sure enough, my 2 most specialist guides right in front of me. So they are never not with you, but they knew I wanted to see what is it like just to go through higher self all the time. And that's been pretty exciting. But I love
Yeah.
them so much, and I love it when somebody
know.
new comes along. I got to meet Quetzalcoatl the other day a few times,
Wow.
and then this beautiful being who hasn't exactly told me his name yet, but I'm hoping that he will. And so, I'm really loving that. And so, how do you tell people to access being able to see or speak to their guides? How do you set that up for folks?
Well, I think it's very simple. We were always designed to be using this help. But what they've told me is that it's easiest to access the guardian angels. They're kind of the first in line, the first responders. And let me just say this, that they love us more than we're capable of understanding as humans. The love from, as you know, Mary, is just immense. It's so tremendous. They don't lose patience with us. They don't have any of those kind of emotions. They want to help us, but they have to have us ask first, beyond their guardianship roles. And the beautiful part is, every time you allow them to assist you, they're serving you out of tremendous love, so they're able to grow from that. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a win-win. Every time you ask them to help you with anything, big, small, vague, specific, it doesn't matter, as often as you want. That's what they will keep saying over and over to me is, please have them ask us for help more often. And so everybody has a guardian angel, at least one, whether you believe in guardian angels or not, and they're by your side, as you said earlier, 24/7. They're there from your first breath to your last. And they're the easiest to communicate to. And that's who you just simply talk to them in your head. They will respond with your intuition. That's their guidance system, that we were designed to be intuitively guided. Very few people actually see them or hear them like you do. But most people, every person is clairsentient, where they feel the guidance. They can feel it with their body. And so that's the difference, is don't hand it over, let go of how and when, because that's the mind, right? Wanting to, drive from the back seat, I guess. I don't know, but hand it over and let them help you, let them guide you. They don't have the limitations we do. It's so much easier letting them help you with this stuff, but they're going to help you. And this is very important. They respond to every single request, but they're going to do so according to the highest good of all and your soul's intentions. So you can say, thanks for helping me win the lottery, but that's not going to happen if it's not your soul's intention, which it probably isn't. But they can certainly bring you abundance in other ways. So I think people have expectations of how come they haven't helped me when I've asked for it. Maybe you've asked them to help you heal something and it's still not healed. It's possible that you still have emotional cores involved. It's possible that your soul isn't ready for you to heal that yet for a number of reasons. So they have spiritual laws and universal laws that they're guided by, that they're governed by, but they respond to every request, but they're going to do it the way they're allowed to do it. But it's so much better than what many of us would even imagine. We weren't supposed to be having so much pain and struggle. We're really ramping that up way more than it was intended to.
Boy, isn't that the truth? I think if we can learn to get out of our own way. I mean, I was in my own way for a lot of years, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love the way angels feel. They feel beautiful and calm and when they're not giving us what we ask for, sometimes it's a lesson, right? But what I love about angels is they feel a lot like our sky people.
And the team that I work with, I have this beautiful team, and you've met one of the members or two of the members today. I love how my team is very gentle but extremely powerful. And they highly respect, they respect your free will. If you're not ready to learn this, fine, that's fine. If you have to come back another lifetime, that's fine too. But it's really in your best interest to follow the guidance. And it's really extremely easy for them to help us. It's so easy for them to do that. The challenge for them is getting our minds to go where they're trying to guide us.
Yes.
That's the challenge, because they won't force you. And people ask me, how can I tell the difference between whether it's my mind guiding me or if it's my guides? The guides, the angels, it just feels right. You just know it. You can feel it in your body, but the mind will tell you have to, you should, you need to. It's fear versus love. That's the difference.
That's beautiful. Yes, absolutely. When it's not happy and when it's not funny and when it's not kind, it's not your guidance. That's what I always tell people.
Yes, that's a great way to put that.
The holy ones are very funny.
They are, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
The other day I was talking to, it was Jesus I was talking to. I said this the other day too, but it's such a great story. I'll tell you. He told me something and I said, Master, are you sure? And he said, I am. And I just went, oh, I get you. I see what you did there. Yeah. So they're funny and sometimes they don't say anything. And that too is a lesson, because we are really supposed to be trying to, just quiet that chatter there, But so can you talk about that, being able to hear people's thoughts?
Oh, how they're telepathic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because people are like, well, how do I ask them for help? Well, you just simply have to ask them in your mind. And once is enough. So they're telepathic to your thoughts. And like I said earlier, the guardian angels are going to be the first ones to step up. And if they need more help, they'll bring in more help. But they're telepathic to your thoughts. And so you simply ask them in your thoughts, thank you for helping me with. And it's not a, oh, please help me. It's a thank you. Because like I said, they respond every time. So thank you for helping me with, fill in the blank. You don't even need to be specific. You can say something like, thank you for helping me be as happy and healthy as I can be. Then they have permission now to step in and give you those aha moments, to download energy into you, to set up synchronicities. Again, it's child's play for them. Very easy, but they're going to do so in their divine timing as you're ready. You might want the corner piece to that jigsaw puzzle, but they may know you need a few more pieces first. So they're going to give you what you need as you need it. That's why you have to let go of how and when. And if plan A falls through, they just shift to plan B. They'll never force anybody to do anything. So if you ask for a job, it didn't happen because that interviewer decided to turn you down and hire somebody else, they just move to the next plan. So just keep handing it over and allowing them to guide you. Be a team player with them.
A friend of mine always says, I am interested in this job or better. Or
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
So I love that. And I also think it's fun to play around with those synchronicities. So there's a thing I asked for the other day. There's a particular kind of bookcase that only comes up on OfferUp once in a blue moon. So that's what I'm playing around with about manifestation. But the telepathic skills are very interesting. I have a few people that are around me that are telepathic. Me, not all the time. Every once in a while I can do that, but not all the time. And so I asked my friend, how do you handle being able to hear people's thoughts? And she said, grace.
That is so true. So true. When my husband came back from the outback, he started developing the same skills that some of the things that the Aboriginal people in the outback could do. And so he was working with people who were hanging out in fifth dimensional living, right? And at fifth dimension, you are telepathic to each other's thoughts. So he came back and became telepathic. And I didn't know that the first year I was married to him, which interesting, right? So he said it's not always easy hearing what other people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not easy. And I do remember a couple times I didn't know he was telepathic, and he would place thoughts in my head about, let's go get an ice cream cone, and it was, he just, or I'd wonder, where did that thought come from?
Yes.
But he had to be very careful about honoring free will and not crossing certain boundaries. But yeah, now I look back and I realize he was the one who wanted an ice cream cone, and he wanted to make it look like it was me. So, yeah. But yeah, grace is the best answer to that, to being telepathic people's thoughts. It's not always as good as you think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is. And pets work us that way. Our dog, I have a hound dog that lives with her mother, but still I consider my dog. And then our dog that lives at home, Chief Beckman, he's always trying to get the chicken. So the other day, he put it in one of my friend's thoughts about the gravy. And in 5 years, I've only given him gravy once. So isn't that interesting? So he's trying to run her to get her to tell me about the chicken gravy. It's crazy.
They're funny. They're funny.
God. Absolutely. And so, yeah, I think as that comes up, which I think it will be, I think as we, hike ourselves up into these higher dimensions, who knows what these awesome skills that we are going to get. And how do you feel about the statement, even if we can't hear other people's thoughts, our bodies certainly can? Because sometimes I'll go into rooms and my body will begin to feel terrible. And I know that it's feeling and hearing what other people have got going on.
Absolutely. I mean, the body doesn't lie. The mind does, but the body doesn't lie. So you can feel energy. And a lot of people that don't have any clue about any of this stuff, they can feel energy from other people.
Oh, sure.
So, and I think it's going to be, and this is why, as we're moving towards the fifth dimension, can you imagine a world where we can read each other's minds, and we are living in a more love-based environment, so that we wouldn't be doing the things that we're doing, or people wouldn't be getting away with this stuff if you knew what they were truly thinking. So that's where we're headed. And I feel tremendously hopeful about the future. It's a bit crazy and chaotic right now, but that's part of the process of getting us there.
Exactly. Well, yes, because then I think we would know if somebody was really just hurting rather than being angry.
Yes.
If we can if we can always think that, if we can always think much past what somebody's showing us, well, what's beyond that? What's beyond that? I mean, that drove me crazy since I was a little kid, and kept myself giving people chances for so many years when I missed learning the lesson because I could see what was beyond that anger to the hurt. Kept trying to give the lesson or learn I don't know. It was on and on, but I think I kind of got that now.
Yeah, right. That's why I love that the Aboriginal culture taught us about, you don't want to be a victim and you don't want to be a rescuer. It's about being a master, where you realize everybody's learning at the pace and in the way they need to. And so sometimes some people need to learn how to say no. They need to learn how to set boundaries. But very importantly, we need to honor what other people are learning and not take away their pain. The guides have told me there's nothing wrong with pain. It's a very effective teacher. And so people have signed up for interesting things because of what their soul wants them to learn in this lifetime. And it's not, and the older souls, the more evolved souls tend to take on the tougher stuff, the challenging things. But you can get a soul who chooses to experience powerlessness by coming in and having a life as a drug addict. That's one way to learn that. So we're not here to rescue them. We're here to honor their choices, We don't have to like it, but at least accept that's part of the learning process because they're at a different stage than we are. And like you said, one of the things you said when we first opened up that I thought was so beautiful is learning to love yourself, and that they're here to love you while you learn to love yourself. Your guides do. And so that's the role some of us play in some of the people who are in our families, especially. We're here to love them unconditionally and not judge them while they learn to love themselves.
Yes.
Not
Absolutely.
necessarily rescue them, but just accept that, not judge what they're doing. That's part of their learning process. Everybody's agreed to play the different roles. Everybody's agreed to learn different things. And so they have their own guides. They have their own team available to assist them. So you can ask your team, please help so-and-so, my daughter or whatever, but the team's not going to step in and help them because they have their own free will. Mm-hmm. They have to ask for that themselves, but they will help you find acceptance and come to peace with it.
Yes. So soul contracts.
Yes. No kidding. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Just those two words.
Well, it is. And you wonder, what were we thinking? What were we thinking?
Nobody read the fine print. Nobody did.
I'm sure Earth looked pretty good from a distance.
We're so brave. We are so brave to come here. It is such a challenging planet because it has, first of all, it's really hard to grow on the other side of the veil because things are in perfection and it's a bit stagnant for growth purposes. So that's why we love coming to this planet, because it's free will, but it also has a tremendous amount of old souls and younger souls and mixed and everything in between. And the younger souls tend to be materialistic, vain, greedy, self-serving. That's just where they are. That's their level of growth. It's kind of like we're all going to the same school, and you have the first graders and you have the people who are graduating from graduate school. And we don't judge the ones who are still in the early stages. We're all equal as souls, but we're all learning different things. And so you have soul contracts to help you learn these things. So if you're an old soul, you're going to get a more challenging than, say, a younger soul, right? And maybe you're here to master deeper levels of forgiveness. So you're going to have soul contracts with people who very likely are younger souls who are going to give you some huge opportunities for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Or acceptance, or whatever it is you're here to master. And so that's why we have these people in our lives, is to help us, especially family members. It's not uncommon to have an old soul in a family of younger souls. And so they're here to help you master what your soul wants you to master. And it's a perfect fit for what they're here to learn and what you're here to learn. And the thing about families, you can't really get away from them. So it's not like you can just quit the job. So they're usually here to help you master. Maybe you're here to learn deeper levels of self-love. And so you may be born deliberately into a family that doesn't accept that you're gay or that you're lesbian, because you have to learn to find that love from within yourself.
Yes.
So yeah, if something keeps coming up on your path over and over that your mind is resisting, that's where you want to start asking the questions. Why is this here? How is it here to help me grow? And then engage help from the other side to help you with that. There's no reason you need to be doing it alone. We were supposed to have this help. So let them help you overcome this, learn it, and do it with grace and joy and ease. That's my thing.
And a lot of fun too, because if you keep your sense of humor, it really helps.
You have to on this planet.
Exactly. So once you start recognizing you have that soul team, you can also call in your soul family, and that's when things get fun.
Yes. We don't have to take things so seriously. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we don't have to feel like we're working so hard, because once we say something, they understand us. Whereas possibly with our family of origin, we could have talked all day and they didn't hear us at all. So I love
talk for decades.
Yes. I love how I didn't know till my 50th some year that I remember getting a bones reading, and my friend said, "Wow, you're as old as a rock." Wow, you might have been a rock.
Probably were.
So had I had known that a long time ago, that my people were star and stone, that would have helped me understand why the lessons were as hard as they were. So I just keep on thinking. I keep on thinking, being grateful. And so if anybody's out there that hasn't tried that yet, being grateful can make life absolutely completely different. So let's see. So sometimes we do a lot of work around healing. and we just don't get there, or we get there partially. So you touched on that for a second. Could you explain that for just
Sure.
a little bit more?
Yeah, and this is what I love that one of the things the Aboriginal tribes people gave us is that for healing to happen, it takes three things. You've got to have your body aligned with healing, your emotions, and your soul. And if all three of those are aligned with healing, anything can be healed. It doesn't matter what it is. For a lot of people, it's the emotions that have created the problem in the first place. So, you can go to a doctor and they can, do surgery and remove tumors or give you medicine or whatever. But if you haven't removed the emotional core to that, it's going to grow right back again. It's just like picking the top of a dandelion. And so that's where you can ask your team to help you, your spirit guides or angels, to help you heal. And they'll help you become aware of where your emotional cores are and how to remove them. They'll help you with all that. So you have to have that awareness first, because that emotional stuff, the body, that's the cool part about this planet, is the body and the emotions work together. This is part of our learning lab, which you're given. And so if you keep having negative fear-based emotions, that creates a different cell. It creates a different energetic response to your body, and it can create problems if you keep doing it and you're not releasing it. And so it's like that dashboard warning light. Your body starts having problems, it's warning you. If it doesn't feel good emotionally, I guarantee it's affecting your body in a bad way, in a negative way. And so it's like that dashboard warning light blinking. You're creating some problems. And then if you keep doing it and you don't stop with these emotions, then that dashboard light stays on all the time. And now you have a physical problem. So that's the emotional component, and that's not something Western medicine typically addresses. They address the physical component. But the third part, the soul, is your soul has to be on board. And the soul, like a child who comes born with blindness or deafness or whatever, that soul wanted them to have that experience more than likely, because it's a whole different lifetime than what you and I or someone else that has all those five senses would experience. Or the soul may be trying to get your attention, to get you to change or to become more grateful for life. Or it may be trying to say, okay, it's time to go home. And it's easier for your families, friends to release you if you're in pain or you have a disease. It's easier for you to let go. Or the soul may be trying to teach you something. Or, when you're an older evolved soul, and I said you get more challenging circumstances, sometimes it's that physical stuff that helps you grow as a soul as well. So you may get a physical challenge that your soul does not intend to heal, because it's here to give you that. It helps you grow faster.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here really a blink of an eye. And so you may have that challenge to help you learn how to grow more as a soul. So that's where, again, ask your team. If there's something I need to let go of, thank you for helping me let go of it. Or there's something I need to open to, thank you for helping me open to it. If this is something that I'm out of balance emotionally or physically or whatever, thank you for helping me rectify that. And if it's the soul that's standing in the way, then help me recognize that and help me find acceptance with that. So again, it makes a big difference. But it's those three components that need to be aligned with healing.
Body, mind, and spirit. Yes. And so what Robbie is saying, if I may condense it down really quickly for those that are listening, and for me too always, is that we are asking, we're opening to it, and it may not happen right then. It's not like, well, it could. It could. But what she's saying is they're going to set it up for you. So maybe it might be in the distance for you, but we can't be, it's not our time. We're on spirit time.
Yeah, there's divine timing for sure.
Divine timing. And you can even roll that in there. You can even say, Holy Ones, in divine timing, good grief, can you show me why my leg hurts? Whatever it is, and you're really hoping that they're going to show it to you tomorrow, but you have to be cool about it, because, I wouldn't have wanted to miss everything I learned from the journey of chronic pain. I mean, seriously. And I talk to them. They're probably like, oh God, now here she goes again about the leg, but
they don't. I swear they don't. But I can see where we would feel they would. Yeah. They're not rolling their eyes. I swear. Yeah.
So the book that's out right now, do you have it? You can hold it up. The brand new one, the
I
one that's called,
don't. I don't. We're
okay.
just getting it into printed form now, but it's available on my website, holzwellness.com, or Amazon. The Vibrant Living, all three of these books are available on Amazon, or you can certainly ask your bookstore to order them. Um, so Gary's journey was the secrets of Aboriginal healing, and when he went into the outback. And then the follow up is what happened when he came back from that and discovered he was a healer. Tremendous stories in that. And then my journey into the outback. That's the Aboriginal Secrets of Awakening. And then the book that just came out just a couple days ago is Vibrant Living, Braving the Pandemic with Help from Your Guardian Angel. But it's not just the pandemic, it's really a 60-day guidebook on how to use them for anything. So I tried to put into this really condensed way who they are, what they do, how to communicate, how they communicate to you, how to ask them, what gets in the way, even how to work with ancestors or deceased loved ones. It's all in that 60-day guidebook. It's a quick read, and um, it's transformational because I think it helps people recognize, oh, I get it. This is why this keeps happening to me. This is why I keep, having this journey about this over and over and over. And so it all makes sense. And again, there's a lot of energy in this one too. So
Okay.
yeah,
And when will that be in print?
it's going to be in print probably in a couple days. Where they're setting it up today.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah. But right now it's available as an ebook, or you can get it on my website, Holz Wellness, HOLZ Wellness.com, in a PDH format, where you can print it yourself. But if you just wait a couple days, it'll be available in a printed form. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I like to touch them
I do too. I do
and
too.
highlight them and write in them,
I
So I'd like to tell everybody whenever there aren't very many questions, it's because people are very interested in what you have to say. So I'm excited about that. If somebody has a question, she's got a couple more minutes. You can ask her a question. I will blather on about a couple of things while people are thinking about that. So I just want to say hello to some really lovely people, to Melanie and to Joanne, and some of the lovely people have come on today. So Janet says, I'm confused. I was told 3D is over, that we were in 5D, and that we're accessing 7. So where are we really, at least most of the time? I would say, let me answer that because we kind of did earlier, but
yeah.
I'd have to say you kind of go, I tell you, when you get really angry about something, say in traffic, you might be in 2D, kids. So our goal is to, if you really want to, try to get yourself up there to 7, see how smooth it is. Because when they talk about 7th heaven, that's kind of it. That kind of is it. So we are certainly moving up. You can tell when you are in the higher dimensions because you are seeing things. You have all kinds of numbers on the clock, the 1111, the 555. You'll be able to hear maybe the other day I woke up to cooking, to baking bread. That's my mom. So, you'll see things moving. You'll see colors. You'll see visions in the sky. You're getting into the higher dimensions. So seriously, everybody, don't worry about it. We're all going there. You know what? I don't know if we're all going there. There's going to be some people that aren't, and that's in their
That's
contract.
fine.
So
That's fine.
don't worry about it. We're not going to
Right.
worry about that. So, and
but planet Earth, Mother Earth, is no longer going to be a third dimensional planet.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And so when you're in fifth dimension, you're in love-based energies. Mm-hmm. You're always in compassion. You want to be of service to others. You're in acceptance. You're in love. But as you said, we keep going. We're going basically between the third and fourth. Yes. Most of us, third and fourth. And that's the key, is you want to get into the next dimension and stay there. And that's a matter of frequency and vibration. And these emotions have a different, like anger, depression, those are really low frequencies and vibrations. And that creates this perfect swampy breeding ground for disease in the body. And so you want to not get triggered. And that's where the guides and angels can help you. Thank you for helping me not get triggered. Right. Thank you for helping me overcome this and learn this. There are some people I would prefer not to have to come back again with, right? Oh. So thank you for helping me no longer need that lesson anymore. They can help you with that. But yeah, when you're getting triggered, then it's easy to get pulled down. And even some of the food, you have to pay attention to what you're eating. It'll lower you into these lower frequencies again, too.
I can't tell you how many years they kept saying that. They kept saying, Soul, if you keep eating the sugar and eating the wheat And I finally figured out I'm actually so allergic to gluten, I can just look at it and get the D word, which I will not say the D word. Tom said I can't say
You
the
just
D
have to
word.
look at it. That's how connected you are to it.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
So if you really want to make some changes, the moment your eyes open and your feet hit the ground, start naming off stuff you're grateful for. That changes your vibration right there. And
Oh, yeah.
I always wondered, I would meet people in my early life, of course, they would be more religious minded people because I didn't meet spiritual people till later in my life. But I would look at some people who were really clued in on helping other people. And I would think, why are those people so doggone happy? Because they're helping other people.
Yeah.
So seriously, if you want to go up in vibration, start thinking of what can one do for somebody else without causing your health, your energy, or your life to, to go down a little bit, I guess. You're not using your energy, you're using that lovely welling up that the earth will give you at all times to be able to, you step into that, and then you want to help others. And then it'll be the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Can I help you? How could I help you?
Yeah.
And maybe it's a hug. Maybe it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
What it is.
And there's a difference between rescuing and wanting to help. One comes from fear, the other comes from love. And so that's the difference, is you want to help out of love and knowing where the boundaries are. So that's another thing I like to ask my guys for. Well, thank you for helping me be the best mother I can be, or the best grandmother or partner. So that if I'm supposed to say something, thank you for helping provide the words and provide the opening. It just makes it so much easier.
So I have a question here. I hope I can explain this. Okay. So my dear friend Melanie is going to be coming on to talk about the magnetic grid. So what she does is she takes these photos of an eyeball, a cloud, a tree, a plant, anywhere in your house. And in those photos are stories about you. In your right eye, if I understand it correctly, is what you need to work on. And please help me, Melanie. And your left is your guidance system. Okay. And this has taken her years to figure this out. She wants you to know, what do you think about the magnetic grid? And do you believe at all times there are about a gabillion beings around us everywhere?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I mean, there's so much we don't see in this third dimension. Again, it comes down to that frequency and vibration. We just can't access it at this vibration. And so that's, again, where you want to start paying attention to. Our vibration's constantly changing. We're lowering it or raising it. And she's obviously able to access that. And that sounds like a fascinating interview.
It is. She came over to my house early on and just kind of snapped a few pictures, and you could see my guides actually applied to my body. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And now from talking to her all the time, I can see what clouds, and they'll go ahead and tell you, no, move your arm over this way and take that picture. No, over here. My guides will tell me this. I'll take the picture and you'll open it up and there are beings just looking down at you. It's just amazing. So what I learned from that, I forget how I learned that, but what I learned from that is I would say, oh, I know. I remember my shaman friend told me, please ask that those biggies, like the 8, 9, and 10th dimensional ones that'll come from up there, please to have them stand outside your bedroom so you can go to sleep, because they're just waiting for you to wake up so they can play with you.
I know. Some people, I know. It's so funny. It's interesting that you bring this up. I had somebody that was, this is not their realm. Let's just say this is outside their box. But they did tell me that they had gone and visited a park that was a site of an old, during the Civil War. Mm-hmm. And he said he took pictures of it and got home. It was not a digital camera. It was an old-fashioned camera, a regular camera. And he said he got home and he said there were orbs everywhere. Yes. In this picture that he had no idea. And that was kind of a new thing for him, and you realize it. And I have pictures too where family members have sent me where they flashed it and there's a little orb in there. If you pay attention to it, it's like, yeah, that's your guardian angel right there. They don't know what those are, but yeah, they're like, the beings are all over the place. You're never alone. The last thing is if you're alone. That's, if you could see it and if you could see them and you could feel them, you would not feel lonely and you would not feel unloved. For sure.
And that's you can say that from anybody all across. I mean, people, especially this culture, we feel alone. We feel so separated. Yeah. And I'm just praying for that unity consciousness. I think it'll be in our lifetime.
It's coming.
I think my Sky Command folks are going to land on my house and possibly just hang out here in Tacoma with me. I completely believe that.
My guides have told me that a lot of the things that we want to see, my 5-year-old grandson will see in his lifetime. We're here as forerunners. We're here. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of the things that we want to see. We're sort of the forerunners. We're a couple generations ahead. We're planting the seeds, but it's reassuring to know. So I'm always asking my guides, well, is this going to happen in my lifetime? Because I'm 66, or my son's lifetime, who's 32, or my 5-year-old grandson's. And it's the stuff that fifth dimensional existence, that we're looking forward to. That's the stuff that's coming. It's happening. Yeah. It's happening now. And that's why things are shifting, and it's a bit chaotic, but it's also this, I love that we're waking up to this hindsight is 2020. 2020 is when things really started to shift. It's the beginning of this mass awakening to get us into these higher frequencies and these other dimensions.
Absolutely. That's another way that we know that things are so much different, is how odd time feels, because I went to a place where it was sort of, I would call it back in time for me.
Yeah.
So I went and I spent time with some people that I dearly love. And I kept looking at the clock, and it was the same time for about 3 hours. That's how it felt. I got home and I went, why did that day of 4 hours feel so odd to me? And I recognized that it's a different.
Yeah.
When I'm here in my house, I'm in a different D, a different dimension, different density. So somebody has a question. So Marcia wants to know, why does her left side hurt?
Okay.
Marcia Moonstar.
Okay, let me ask the team. There's a blockage of energy there. Okay. She can ask her team to help her with that. That's the past. The right side is moving forward. If you have a blockage there, you're afraid of the future. If you're holding on to emotions and things from the past, that's the left side. So yeah, there's something from the past. Let me just talk to them about it. It's a couple of things. It's from this lifetime. It's a number of incidents, Marcia. It's not just one isolated thing that you're holding on to. And so that's where you have to start recognizing it was here to help me grow as a soul. For you, it wasn't karma. It was just to help you grow. And so ask your team to help you move beyond that and to release that. It served a purpose. She doesn't need it. You don't need it anymore. You don't need it anymore.
Yes, you can do some writing about it too, Marcia.
Great idea.
Ask the holy ones to dump that in your head, what it's all about. And don't be so concerned to find out exactly, precisely, specifically what it is. You don't need to know that.
Exactly.
Just get a flavor on it and release that puppy.
Have the intention and allow them to help you with that. Yeah.
So Carolyn wants us to know that she took some photos of her granddaughter at a school concert, and there were lots of orbs. I love that, especially the little kids. The little kids are so plugged in.
I know.
And so Melanie says, this is Melanie, are my contracts with family still going? This is Melanie Long.
Yeah.
Contracts still going.
Yeah, enjoy. That's all I can say.
She has a big family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it takes a lot of work, and for me, it was writing. I had to do a lot of writing to try to figure out, why did I come down into the family of origin? What was I to learn? Why am I a healer? Who the heck am I? And if I would have thought 5 years ago I was going to move to Tacoma, I mean, come on now, it's not like a destination spot. But once I got here, I felt really great about being here. So evidently it was my destination. But
who thought? Who would have known?
Who knew? So what I want to ask is, did you have anything that you wanted to say, your last remarks?
I think the thing that the team really wants to convey is you are loved more than you can possibly imagine. You have so much help available to you. Please ask us to help you more. There are millions of unemployed angels waiting to assist, especially now more than ever as we're transitioning into these other frequencies, into these other dimensions. We've never had this level of help before. It's available to you. You just simply have to ask, and then tell them what your attention is. Yeah.
I just wonder if I got that unemployed angels from you. because I say that all the time and I never could remember who I got that from, because you'll be inspired by somebody, some healer or somebody, and you'll take a little thing, because it's
Yeah.
not like it all belongs to each of us, some things
Right.
we're not supposed to do, but somehow I heard unemployed angels and I have ran with that. So
But it's true. It's true. They're here, they're waiting to assist. Yes.
so since we're at the end, Carrie, go back and listen to what Robbie said about Marcia, because it's going to happen in the same way. You're going to understand what's going on with your right side. It's also a walking forward thing with you.
Yes. Fears of the future. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you so much. I can't wait to get your last 2 books, because I didn't get the middle one. And so maybe I'm hoping that that I'll be able to. And I want to just say this. I just got a personal message that somebody all of us prayed for came through surgery and did great. So
awesome.
Everybody that are on Hands of Light with me, which Hands of Light is our Facebook group. Myself and Ann Mukherjee created it back in December. We have about 700 and some people, and we put people on. We're just a non-denominational group of weirdo healers. And when somebody says, I need something, by golly, there's 20 to 60, even more than that, people helping and healing. So if anybody out there really wants to go to a great place where we don't talk about, politics or any dumb stuff, just go on there, because we're talking about love and healing and help. And we have some live stuff. We don't do much in channeling, but we have a lot of help on there for people. So I am so happy to hear that. And I just thank everybody. And I thank you so much, Miss Robbie, for coming on. It was a delight. Do you remember me kissing your hands when I met you?
After I saw you, I remembered you.
Yeah. Because I was so overwhelmed.
I don't remember that part, but I do remember your face. Yeah. And I think we might have had some laughs even then,
We did. Yeah, because I met you at TED's.
Yeah.
And I had just seen what I thought was my first, one of my first couple guides from the stars, which actually was an aspect of me. Well, I didn't know that for years, but I went out in that little room out there and went out. I was on the ship in front of the family. That was the first time that happened. So I was a little out of myself that day. I was like, whoa. And then I met you and I was like, whoa, it was a great day. So thank you so very much for being on.
You're welcome.
I thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll meet again.
I'm sure we will. Thanks, Mary. It's been a treat.
So have a great day, everybody. Come on back for Eileen. She's going to talk about what the planets have in store for us on Wednesday, 2:00. Okay. Love y'all. Bye-bye.